All right, so this is today's lesson, February 10th, on circles. This is the example we're going to do in class, or we did in class. So the first question here, it gives us the diameter of a circle. So imagine there's a circle whose diameter, meaning a line that goes through the center from one end to the other end of the circle, from this end to this end, and it has to pass through the center. We call that the diameter, okay? So they give us the diameter, and what do they ask us for is the circumference. So the formula for circumference is C equals to 2 pi r. It's also can be written like this, C equals to D times pi, or pi d, whichever, okay? I like to find the radius, and then I do all the work. So it's easy to find the radius. You just take your diameter and divide it by 2. That gives you the radius. So if you take this line here and just break it in half, that's the radius. So if the diameter, the whole thing is 8, half of it is 4. So whenever I do work, I like to get the radius first. So the radius is 4 inches, then the rest are just substitution in the equation for circumference. So the equation for circumference is C equals to 2 times pi times the radius. C is equal to 2 times pi, let's estimate 3.14, times the radius, which is 4, okay? And put that in the calculator, and you got your answer, okay? Let's do one more. Here the diameter is 14, so I'm going to take the diameter divided by 2, which is 14 divided by 2 is going to give you the radius, which is 7. And I'm going to find the area. So the equation for area is pi times the radius. In this case, it's going to get squared. Okay? So the area is pi, the number 3.14 times the radius, and we square it. So pi is 3.14. And our radius here is 7. And then we have to square it. So this is 3.14 times 7 squared. If you remember your exponents, it's 7 times 7, and that's 49. So this is 3.14 times 49. And put that in the calculator, you're going to get your answer. And the unit has to be feet squared because it's area. Here, the unit is inches. It's not area, it's circumference. It doesn't get square, okay? All right, so those are a couple of examples to warm up. Let's do what else is in here. Give me 1 second to scroll up. Okay, so let's look at number 5 here. They're asking us to find the area of the composite figure to the right. Write your answer in terms of pi, okay? So this is a composite shape, composite figure. Why we call it composite? Composite means it's composed of more than one shape. And if you look at it, there is a rectangle and there is a part of a circle, okay? So it's composed of a rectangle shape, rectangular shape, and a circle shape, okay? So that's why it's composite. It's composed of 2 things, okay? They want to know what's the area inside, okay? What's the space inside? So the way we do area of composite shape is we do the area of each part and add them together to get the total area. So the first one, think of it as a rectangle whose length and width is 14 and 5. And the other one, it's not a full circle, but it's half a circle, okay? This one is easy. The area is just multiply the sides together, length and width. Doesn't matter which one you call length, which one you call width. So it's just 5 times 14, all right? So that's not a problem. This one here, I need to find the area. So let's review, or let's go back and use the equation for area. The equation for area is pi times the radius square. And remember what I keep telling you guys, anything you want to do with circles, if you know the radius, you can do everything that has to do with circles. So here I need to know what the radius is, okay? So imagine I'm gonna complete the circle. Imagine the circle goes around like this. Imagine the other half is like this. That's the circle, right? We only got half of it, but imagine you have the whole circle. This line here that goes in the middle, what is the diameter, right? It cuts it in half, so that's the diameter. Well, if I know the diameter, I just divide it by 2, and that gives me the radius. So how much is this line here? Well, since this is a rectangle, if here is 14, then also here is 14, right? If top is 5, then the bottom is 5. So if I have 14 here, then this line is also 14, which tells me that the diameter is 14, and the radius is half of that, which is 2. I'm sorry, which is 7, okay? So I know the radius is 7. I can find the area of the circle. I'm going to use the formula for area. Area is pi, let me write 3.14 times the radius square, which is 7 squared. Okay, so I got the area of the circle, which is 3.14 times 49. 7 squared is 49. I think we did that in the previous example. Okay, so put that in. Well, let's start putting some numbers. Let me put that in the calculator, see what we get. So 3.14 times 49, I get 153.86. So that's the area of the circle. But this gives me the area of the whole circle, okay? It gives me the area if I have the whole circle, which I don't. I only have half of the circle. So that means I have half the area. So I have to divide this by 2 to give me the area of here. Because I don't have the whole circle, I just have half of it. So let me divide that by 2. And what do I get? 79.93. So the area divided by 2, it gives me 79.93. So this is 79.93. And the other one is 5 times 14, which is 70. So the area of the whole shape, this composite shape, is together 70 plus 79.93, and we get 149.93. So the area of both will be, adding them together, for the rectangle, we got 70. For the half a circle, we got 79.93. And I just lost my answer. And the total area of the composite shape is 149.93. 149.93. And since it's area, so it's meter squared. Make sure you square because it's area, okay? All right, so that's the answer for the area. Find the area of the separate shapes, add them together. The only tricky part here is you just got to remember that it's not a full circle, it's just half of the circle, okay? All right, let's do the second part. The second part, they want the perimeter around the figure, okay? So they want the distance going around. We're gonna use the same thing. We're gonna go around the whole shape. What's the distance, okay? So you have to be careful here because you're not, if it was just a rectangle, the perimeter is you add all 4 sides, okay? If I'm going outside, I'm not gonna add this side because once I get to this point, I am going up on the circle. So it'll be this, if I start from here, think if I start walking around, I'll go to here, 14 plus 5 plus whatever this for the circle and plus another 5 here. And that will give you the perimeter of the shape. So it will be 14 meters plus this plus 5 meters plus something for the circle, which is this something part of the circumference of the circle, and plus 5, and that be the perimeter of the whole thing, okay? So let's figure that out. The only thing we have to figure out here is what's this piece here. We'll call that an arc. What's this piece? When I walk around the circle, how much is that? Okay, so imagine this is the circle again, same thing we did for the area. Okay, if you walk around the whole circle, that's C. But if you walk around half of the circle, that's C over 2, the circumference over 2. So if you were to go around the whole circle, well, that's just the circumference of the circle. So if you walk from here and you go all around, that's the circumference of the circle. But if you walk around and you stop here halfway, you stop half that, divide the circumference by 2, okay? So let's do the easy part. What's 14 plus 5 plus 5? Okay, that's 10, that's 24, plus whatever half the circumference is. Let me write it as whatever the circumference, and I'm gonna divide it by 2, okay? So all I need to know is what's C. Let's use the equation for the circumference. Circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. And the radius was 7. We used it for the area. So R here was 7. So it'll be 2 times 3.14 times 7. And let's put that in the calculator. I should have a calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 7. What do we get? 43.96. 43.96. To that, I'm going to add the 24. So that's 43.96. What did I get for the circumference? Oh, that was my mistake. I didn't divide by 2, right? So 1 second. So that's C is 43.96, which I need C divided by 2. That means I got to do 43.96 and divide by 2 because I only have half of the circle, half the distance around. So that gives me 43.96 divided by 2. 21.98. So it'll be 24 plus 21.98. And what do we get? 45.98. And it's in meters. So this is meters, okay? So the distance around the whole shape is 45.98 meters. So think of it as when you move along the line and you stay on the outside all the way around and you get back here, you're gonna be walking around 45.98 meters. All right, so that was work for today. Do the homework on the other document, and until the next video.